the half court, slow the game down, where the ball goes to die offense of Stephanie White. The Stephanie White influence, it felt big tonight. I mean, you let Caitlin Clark run yesterday, Kara Lawson. Today, nah. We're not letting her get up and down the court. We're not letting her do 17 points and 12 boards. Might make these other players feel bad. Woo-wee!
Team USA picked up another qualifying win, this time 91-48 over Puerto Rico, but the performance was arguably the most labored of the 3 games in the tournament so far. The margin was comfortable. It was never going to be otherwise, given the talent gap, but the quality of basketball on display was genuinely difficult to follow. The offense moved slowly, the spacing was inconsistent, and the overall rhythm never found its footing. A team winning by more than 40 points simply should not look as disjointed as this one did throughout long stretches of the game.
Boards might make these other players feel bad. Woo-wee! The agenda is thick. We'll get to the social media reaction in a second. So they won 91-48. Puerto Rico put on a better show than Senegal. Caitlin Clark, 18 minutes, 8 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. Oh, the constant lineup switch outs. No rhyme.
Caitlin Clark logged 18 minutes, finishing with 8 points, 2 assists, and 3 rebounds. She was not the floor-opening, pace-dictating presence she had been in the first game, and it was evident that she struggled to establish any kind of consistent flow. The substitution patterns showed no obvious logic. Clark was rotated in and out without any clear framework, and the lineup combinations around her varied without apparent purpose. The environment made it difficult for any individual player to build momentum, and Clark was no exception.
Lineup, switch outs. No rhyme or reason. Why in the hell Caitlin Clark's not starting in these games? Beyond me at this point. Beyond me. Angel Reese, 10 points, 13 boards. She had a double-double. I want to make sure that we get that in there. I mean, it is what it is. They started Paige Becker. She had 16 points, 3 assists. Oh, all right, Caitlin Clark. Way downtown. Let's check it out.
Paige Bucher started and led the team with 16 points and 3 assists. Angel Reese delivered a double-double with 10 points and 13 rebounds, which is worth acknowledging on its own terms regardless of the broader frustrations with how the team operated. Reese was active on the glass throughout. One pattern that drew attention was ball movement, or the absence of it in key moments.
Check it out. Way downtown. Boom. Boom. With a long, long 3. And you could tell Caitlin's game was discombobulated all night long. She did not look comfortable out there, and it just felt like she could never get in a rhythm in this game. This was beautiful. This was a steal to a bucket right here. And
when Clark was on the court and not in possession, the ball did not consistently find its way back to her after she redistributed. Teammates ran the ball up the floor themselves or moved it elsewhere rather than cycling back through her as the primary facilitator. In the previous game, where she was given more freedom to push pace and initiate offense, she produced 17 points and 12 assists. The contrast between that performance and this one correlates closely with how much creative latitude she was afforded.
This was beautiful. This was a steal to a bucket right here. And Caitlin's going to jump that pass, steal the ball, and drive it down. Get the layup. It was nice. Nice work. I believe there was a foul on that play as well. So, your boy, meaning me, not only did we have the Stephanie White influence, it was the Stephanie White shakes hands. And
it marked the 3rd straight game in which Clark did not receive a starting assignment. USA Basketball again withheld the starting lineup announcement until essentially tip-off, having faced significant backlash the previous time they released it in advance. The decision drew the same volume of criticism regardless of timing. The viewing experience was described by a wide range of commentators as flat and uninspiring.
The Stephanie White influence, it was the Stephanie White shakes hands and meets the UConn agenda tonight. We saw that with the starting lineup. I posted online. Boy, the agenda is thick. And I mean, that's thick with an extra TH, extra big TH. They hate Caitlin Clark. The unrivaled agenda. I mean, you can only start if you check at least one box. Woo! I mean,
Puerto Rico, while clearly outmatched, was competitive enough in certain periods that a more organized opponent would have made the game genuinely difficult. The talent advantage carried Team USA through, but talent advantage alone should not be the operating strategy for a national program preparing for World Cup competition. The underlying tension across all three games comes back to the same question: what does the coaching staff believe it is building toward? Running Clark off the ball, limiting her minutes, and keeping her out of the starting lineup while the offense stagnates in the middle quarters is not a formula that maximizes what this roster is capable of.
Wow. So at this rate, she better start, I would assume, against Italy. It's gross. I mean, I get you. I thought it was very funny that USA Basketball waited till right as the game kicked off to post the starting lineup. Yesterday, they posted that joker ahead of time. Not today, because they got destroyed yesterday.
The one game where she was given room to operate produced a historically efficient individual performance. The two games where she was managed more conservatively produced wins that were functional but uninspiring. The Italy fixture coming up represents another opportunity to answer that question on the court. The WNBA finds itself at one of the most precarious crossroads in its existence, and the circumstances surrounding the current CBA dispute make the timing especially damaging.
Because they got destroyed yesterday, it didn't get any better for them. It didn't get any better. CDS, y'all are desperate to turn all the fans away. No one gives a crap about these players. They're boring. Bored shitless watching this game. So uninteresting unless you put CC on the court. I mean, yeah. Why do they have the old washed-up point guard in there? CC not starting is truly the dumbest shits ever. Kara Lawson.
For the better part of 3 decades, the league ran at a loss. Ownership groups absorbed those losses year after year, kept franchises afloat, and waited for the league to find the kind of cultural foothold that would make the investment worthwhile. Caitlin Clark's entry into the league in 2024 represented that moment, arriving suddenly and unmistakably. Attendance figures jumped, broadcast numbers improved dramatically, and the league closed a $2.2 billion media rights agreement that is scheduled to take effect with the coming season.
Before she walked into the league, I mean, literally, beep, 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 life support. It never made a profit. Who the hell knows if they made one in 2025? The numbers still hadn't come out. I assume that's because of CBA negotiations. Although if I was the league and you didn't make a profit, I'd release those numbers. I do believe they probably came closer to making a profit than prior years. But do I think they made...
That backdrop is what makes a potential work stoppage so difficult to rationalize from the outside. Nafisa Collier, co-founder of the Unrivaled League and a vice president on the Players Union Executive Committee, addressed the situation in a Yahoo Sports interview, confirming that the union remains fully prepared to withhold labor if the CBA terms do not reach an acceptable threshold. The executive committee has been circulating guidance to players for approximately 18 months, encouraging everyone across all salary levels to set aside savings in preparation for a scenario where no season takes place. That guidance has reportedly held firm across the full membership. Top earners, mid-tier players, and incoming rookies have all signaled alignment with the union's position.
Do I think they made a profit? No, I really don't. Because the media rights deal didn't start till this year. This upcoming season, they got a brand new media rights deal. They're about to blow it by potentially not having games. And now you've got one of the co-founders, one of the co-owners of Unrivaled, of course, VP on the Players Union Committee, Nafisia Collier, out here. And once again, she's
Asked directly about the current state of talks, Collier acknowledged the gap between where negotiations stand and where the union needs them to land, while noting that the direction of movement has been encouraging. There is forward momentum in her framing, even if the destination has not yet come into view. The central obstacle blocking a resolution appears to be the gross revenue sharing component.
Nafisia Collier out here. And once again, she's talking about how much they're ready to strike if they need to. We're 10 toes down. Who talks like this when dealing with actual business? I mean, 10 toes down. That sounds like business jargon to me, right? Word. I mean, let's watch this video. This is from Yahoo Sports. And yeah.
Ownership groups are not prepared to commit to sharing a portion of gross revenue at a moment when the league has not yet demonstrated it can operate profitably. Their position reflects a straightforward financial calculation. 30 years of subsidized operations have not been recouped, and the incoming media revenue represents the first realistic opportunity to change that equation. Agreeing to revenue sharing before profitability is established would be surrendering the upside of the very deal that makes this moment meaningful in the first place.
Let's watch this video. This is from Yahoo Sports. And yeah, if they need to strike, they're going to.
On the CBA, hitting crunch time, time is running out. Adam Silver talks about the 11th hour. But I'm just wondering what conversations you've had with maybe that middle tier of player in terms of moving forward, and if there is a deal to be done or if you do need to end up striking.
Well, for the past, I would say, like year and a half, the executive committee has been urging everyone to save their money.
Until the players' side softens on that particular demand, a deal appears unlikely. Public sentiment has shifted noticeably against the players throughout this process. The comment sections and broader online discussion around the labor dispute reflect a fan base that is increasingly unwilling to extend goodwill in the direction of the union.
Because we knew the negotiations were coming up. We never know what's going to happen. You know, if there's not a season, we want to make sure everyone's prepared. So hopefully everyone has been doing that. That's something we've been talking about for a really long time. But also that is something that we check in with everyone, you know, because opinions change over time. And that is something that has stayed consistent, that people, no matter, you know, middle tier, the one, like the people at the top, rookies, everyone has been really consistent in that we want a season to happen. But if
the long-standing supporters of the league, those who followed it through the lean years, may remain sympathetic, but the newer, larger audience that arrived because of Clark and the league's recent visibility surge operates on different terms. That audience is not tethered to the league by loyalty built over years. A canceled season severs that connection, and there is no guarantee it gets rebuilt.
If we don't get the things that we are wanting to stay 10 toes down on, then we're going to sit out for as long as that takes. Like, that's not what anyone wants, but it's what we're willing to do in order to get the things that we feel are fair.
How do you feel about where things stand right now?
I think that things are moving. Like, we are not where we want to be, but I think negotiations are trending in the right direction. And that's what you want. You want movement. You don't want to be in a stalemate. You want there to be hope for the future. And I do have that.
The replacement player question has entered the conversation, though the mechanics remain unclear. Rookies would likely be bound by CBA provisions that prevent them from competing during a strike, meaning any replacement roster would need to be assembled entirely from outside the existing player pool. Whether that scenario is realistic or purely theoretical is uncertain, but its emergence as a talking point reflects how seriously some observers are taking the possibility of a full stoppage.
There to be hope for the future, and I do have that. I think there has to be a lot of movement in some, you know, in a lot of places in the CBA, but the fact that we are moving, I think, is really hopeful.
You are teaming up with...
Okay. So, once again, talking about the need to sit out. Are you kidding me? It's wow. I mean, again, as I talked about before, you go through the comments on these videos.
The attendance picture adds another layer of complexity. Several franchises are generating revenue and operating in sustainable territory, but a significant number of teams are still struggling to fill arenas that hold fewer than 5,000 seats. Dallas, with Paige Buchers on the roster, and Chicago, with Angel Reese, are two of the league's highest-profile draws, and neither sells out consistently.
And it is like, just shut the league down. Because I can tell you this, the players have lost nearly all fan support. Nearly all fan support. Some of the old guard WNBA fandom, sure, they're like, because it's a social movement statement for them too. All right? It's got nothing to do with actual dollars and cents. This has all been made about something that...
If those markets cannot sustain full buildings around star players, the league's financial foundation is narrower than the recent headlines suggest. Both sides have described this moment as a turning point. The disagreement is over what direction that turn should take.